Hey everyone, it's Skylar, welcome back to my channel. We're on to day 5, part 3 of this 56 page review, so that's why I'm doing it in parts. So, here we go. Then the next match is a last man standing match for the WWE / at the time it was WWF Championship, which The Rock walks down the aisle to the ring, poses on the ropes and raises his eyebrow. Then Mick Foley, as the champion, walks to the ring, then gets into the ring, they look into each other's eyes, and then Mick pulls on his face. Then they both fall on a table. Then Mick Foley throws The Rock to the ring steps. Then Mick Foley is on his belly. Then The Rock throws a chair and hits Mick on his ankle / back of leg. Then Mick gives The Rock the mandible claw. Then The Rock gives Mick Foley a backdrop on the timekeeper's table and hits his leg. Then Mick Foley and The Rock are both down in the ring. Then The Rock starts to talk about the last man standing match, and the guy has to be completely knocked out to win the match. Then The Rock and Mick Foley are standing in the ring and the bell rings. Then Mick Foley turns around with his hands behind his back, and The Rock repeatedly attacks Mick Foley from behind, and Mick absorbs his punishments, and then The Rock kicks his ankle. Then Mick hits The Rock with the title belt, then punches The Rock out of the ring. Then The Rock walks away from the ring, and Mick Foley runs after The Rock and knocks him down. Then throws him on the equipment twice and then punches The Rock, in which The Rock retaliates and throws Mick on the equipment. Then The Rock tries to hit Mick Foley's head on the table, but it reverses, with Mick throwing The Rock over the table instead, punches The Rock and then gives The Rock a DDT on the table. Then The Rock gives Mick Foley a side suplex on the concrete floor and fights back to the ring. Then Mick Foley slams The Rock to the mat, and Mick tries to go for the people's elbow. Then Christian says that what he remembers about the match is when Mick Foley tried to go for the people's elbow. Then Mick Foley says, "I thought I was good at dropping elbows, as I've been doing it for 15 years now, but running, stopping and hitting the elbow feels more magical, and is still the worst looking move that he's ever seen," and he missed the elbow. It was Mick's guilty pleasure, as he had to try it at least once, and now it's back on. Then The Rock punches Mick Foley out of the ring, and then they punch each other out on the floor. Then The Rock gives Mick Foley a suplex onto the floor. Then Mick Foley hits The Rock's head on the steel steps, then rolls The Rock back into the ring, then throws the steel steps into the ring and launches the steps at The Rock, but The Rock kicks the steps into Mick Foley. Then The Rock throws a steel chair into the ring, and The Rock hits the chair onto Mick Foley's ankle / back of leg. Mick goes down, then swings it again, falls down again. Then The Rock swings again, and the chair hits The Rock in the face, and then Mick clotheslines The Rock out of the ring. Then they both land on the floor. Then Mick gives The Rock a swinging neck breaker on the floor. Then Michael Cole thinks that this match, more than any other, really establishes who The Rock was. Then Rock snatches Michael Cole's headset, then puts them on his head and says, "Know your role and get your candy ass out of The Rock's chair." And The Rock says he's going to sit down and add some class to this show. Then The Rock talks about the character and creative things and said that it would be cool to go out there and call his own match, so he did. Then during the match he goes on commentary and calls his own match. Then Mick Foley is trying to get up on the ring steps, and the referee tells The Rock to carry on with the match. Then Michael Cole says that while he was having a match up with Mick Foley, he's taking the time to grab a mic headset and call his own match. Then The Rock gets up, tells him to bring his candy ass over here, and he's got a surprise for him. Then The Rock talks about the commentary. Then Mick rolls over to The Rock and starts to punch him, then slams his head on the announcer's table and rolls off the table, then does his elbow from the ring to the announcer's table and hits The Rock on the back of his head. Then Mick Foley tries to give him a pile driver, but The Rock counters it into a backdrop. Then The Rock throws the steel steps at Mick Foley and hits him in the back. Then it says the most electrifying move, which is the people's elbow, which he hits on Mick Foley. Then Mick Foley tries to get up. Then The Rock Then The Rock does a promo on Mick Foley. On the mic while Mick Foley is getting up. Then The Rock kicks Foley. Then Edge says that The Rock sings the SmackDown Hotel and he's got a kick out of that, and that was really entertaining. The Rock carries on singing his little song. Then Christian says he was very entertaining, and the crowd enjoyed it as well as all the other wrestlers did backstage, as he was funny. Then Mick Foley thought that the role was off key. The Rock was off key. Then The Rock says that he got a big smile from the lady that was interviewing him. Like him's face. Then Edge says, "Don't give up on your day job." A little bit of advice there. Then The Rock carries on singing to Mick Foley and gives The Rock a mandible claw. Then The Rock's elbow. The Rock elbows the referee out of the ring. Then Mick Foley puts The Rock onto the floor. Then Mick rolls the referee back into the ring as The Rock staggers to his feet. Then Mick Foley gets Mr. Socko out and gives The Rock the mandible claw, and then The Rock reverses it and gives Mick Foley the rock bottom. Then the referee counts to six. Both men get up and swing the chair and hit each other and knock each other to the floor, but The Rock rolls out of the ring and both are on the floor, and the referee counts both men to 10, and the match was a draw, and Mick Foley gets taken out of the arena into a stretcher, and the same goes for The Rock as well. Then the match gets replayed again, and Mankind retains the title, only to lose it the next night on Raw to The Rock. So I hope you enjoyed part 3 of day 5 of 28 days of Wrestling Reviews Challenge. Stay gory and have unpleasant dreams, and hope you enjoy the next part. Ta-ta for now. Bye.